Hey everyone, it's Nick. So today I'm going to do a very special ranking video that I'm very excited about. I wish I could take credit for it. I can't. I saw some YouTubers doing it last year and I was like, oh shit, that's a great idea. I need to get my thoughts together on that. So what I'm going to do is rank the top slasher franchises, each movie. By that I mean A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and of course Halloween. So I'm going to rank, there's 31 movies in those franchises combined. I'm going to rank them from 31 all the way down to number one. A couple caveats here. So I have done individual rankings for some of these franchises in the past. They may not reflect it totally in this ranking. It's all going to kind of be how I feel on that day. So a little bit else is that I'm not going to get into super detail on all these movies because we would be here all night. There's 31 movies. That's a lot of talking to do if I get into super detailed analysis of each movie. So I'm just going to kind of rank them, say a little bit of why they're ranked where they are, and go from there. So without further ado, coming in last place, number 31. This was the easiest decision on my list. Freddy's Dead. This movie is nothing short of an abomination. The little cartoonish aspect that they started turning Freddy into in parts 4 and 5, it just shot way up in this movie. Freddy busts out his power glove, advertising for Nintendo. He's uh, he's fucking on a broomstick saying, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too," pushing out nails like Wile E. Coyote and shit. It's just a joke. This is the Bugs Bunny Nightmare on Elm Street film. It's terrible. I can go on about how bad it is all day. But to be honest, it's really pissing me off. So we're just going to move on. Coming in next at number 30 is going to be Jason Takes Manhattan. So this is my least favorite of the Friday the 13th movies. I don't know if it has to do with marketing because obviously you watch a movie called Jason Takes Manhattan, you expect more than the last 15-20 minutes to take place in Manhattan, and half of that was shot in fucking alleys in Vancouver. Jason's wet the whole time, he's teleporting. It's just terrible. So I got nothing more to say about that. So that is at number 30. Coming in at number 29, possibly controversial here. Anyone that knows me knows my thoughts on this movie, though. It's going to be Halloween H2O. Hate this fucking movie. Just fucking hate it. I was excited when it came out. I was lukewarm on it when I first watched it. It's only gotten worse from there, and it's literally my least favorite of the Halloween franchise. Yes, worse than Halloween 5. Yes, worse than Resurrection. That's how much I hate this. The main reason being, it just doesn't feel like Halloween. They're in California, not the Midwest. It's just basically a Scream ripoff, which is sad because Scream was there because of Halloween. So yeah, I hate it. I can get into details on that some other time, but we got to move on. Coming in at number 28 is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. This movie is not all bad, but I just cannot get into it. The girl that played Nancy, I can't remember her name. Rooney Mara, maybe? She was terrible. I don't think Jackie Earl Haley was as bad as people thought. His Freddy was pretty dark, and I like to see Freddy try to be scary again, but the CGI sucked. All the actors, just except for the chick that played the best friend, I can't think of her name right now. Tina, I can't think of the actress's name though. She was okay. Everyone else sucked. Those power naps that they started doing, I thought that was an interesting idea, but it wasn't really executed as well as I hoped. So yeah, this movie is probably a movie I'll never watch again. So that's at number 28. Coming in at number 27 is going to be Halloween Resurrection. 2 words to say about this movie, and then I'm moving on. Busta Rhymes. Boom. All right, number 26, Halloween 5. Oh, God, this movie ruined the Halloween franchise. Just ruined it. If it wasn't for this movie, we went to have The Man in Black, which led to Thorn and all that bullshit. This movie was just terrible. Mask was bad. Don Shanks, I'm not a fan of his portrayal, even though there are worse. I just am not a fan of this movie. The Myers house, don't even get me started on how all of a sudden it's a gothic fucking European mansion. Yeah, there's nothing else that needs to be said about this movie. So that is at number 26. Coming in at number 25 is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, also known as Jason versus Carrie. I am not a fan of Kane Hodder's portrayal of Jason. I'm just not. I prefer Richard Brooker, Ted White, Derek Mears. Those are the ones I prefer. I like Kane Hodder as a person. I think he's great for the horror community. This was his first role as Jason. He was okay. Nothing more, nothing less. That whole Tina aspect with the telekinesis was more interesting than some of the other shit. But at the end of the day, the MPAA fucking hacked this movie to shreds. No good kills. It's just not a very interesting movie to me, so that's why it's all the way towards the bottom. So coming in next at number 23 is going to be Halloween 2. No, not that one. Halloween 2 from 2009. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I liked the way this movie dealt with Laurie's trauma, how she was kind of a broken person a year later. But the whole Michael being a homeless vagabond, kind of wandering around, talking at the end, yelling, die, die, just didn't do it for me. You combine that with all the Rob Zombies bullshit, and that's why it's at the end, so I don't really have much else to say. Coming in at number 22 is going to be Jason X. This movie's at number 22, but it's a fun movie to watch, especially when you're drinking. It's Jason in space. It's not going to be a masterpiece. It's not Citizen Kane here. It's Friday the 13th and Jason in space. It's fun. It's ridiculous. It's at number 22. That's all I got. Coming in at number 21 is the original Halloween. Just kidding. Halloween from 2007, Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. Same thing as I kind of said before. It's totally zombie-ified, if that's a word. The first half of this movie is just garbage. Just zombies dialogue. I will skull fuck you across the room, or whatever the fuck that stepdad says. Just a joke. I can't take it seriously. I just cringe every time I watch it. People don't fucking talk like that. He might be good as a cinematographer. He knows how to shoot a damn movie. This could have been much worse, but it could have been much better. So it's towards the bottom. So that is at number 21. Coming in at number 20 is going to be Freddy vs. Jason. Just like Jason X, just another fun movie. I like to call this kind of the superhero version of slasher movies. The fact that we even have this movie is just amazing. This was stuck in developmental hell for, 16 years. All kinds of different crazy scripts happened. I don't know what else they could have done to make it better. It's not scary by any means. It's a fun movie to watch in the background when you're doing something else. So that's why it's at number 20 for me. All right. So coming in at number 19 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Interesting movie here. It's got a lot of like atmosphere. I don't really like the atmosphere that they have in it, but it's got a lot of it. It's got a great kill, Dan's motorcycle death. The whole concept of Alice's unborn child dreaming, and that's how Freddy gets to her. It's a good idea, especially when you're in the 5th entry of a franchise. But Freddy, I hated his makeup. Still too one-liney, which we'll get into where that started soon. So it's just not a great movie. It's obviously not towards the back, terrible Freddy's Dead version, but it's still not good. So that's why it comes in at number 19. Coming in at number 18, Break Out the Pitchforks, Halloween 2018. I have made my feelings on this movie very well known for anyone that talks about it with me, follows me on Twitter. I don't like this movie for the main reason of what they did with the shape. The tracking shot, I hated seeing Michael's thought process. I hated that he wasn't in the shadows. Basically, that's kind of the main reason I hate it. That and the comedy. Ugh, don't even get me fucking started on the comedy. And that little child, oh shit, when Michael comes out of the closet. It's supposed to be a tense scene, and we're making jokes. Peanut butter on the penis? Come on, bullshit. So yeah, I'll get into this more in depth, but it's at number 18 for me. It's coming in at number 17 is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, or known as the one with the paramedic Roy, who's impersonating Jason. A lot of good things with this movie. A lot of bad things too. But it's not as bad as some people say. The kills were kind of good, kind of cut off. It's basically a softcore porn version of Friday the 13th because the director was a softcore porn director. Yeah, it falls right in, kind of smack dab in the middle of these rankings. Not much great, not much bad. It's okay, so that's why it's there. Coming in at number 16 is going to be the Friday the 13th remake from 2009. Derek Mears playing Jason saved this goddamn movie. I didn't like really any aspect of it. Jason taking a hostage. It seemed too clean for me. Like the cinematography was just too clean. Derek Mears saved it. If it wasn't for Derek Mears' portrayal of Jason, this movie would be towards the bottom. But he miraculously brought it up towards the middle. So it's smack dab in the middle at number 16. Coming in at number 15 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 4, The Dream Master. This is where Freddy went from pretty scary still to what most people call it the MTV version of Freddy. The one-liners are just ramped up, and that's basically all it is. But it's still a decent movie. Can we just talk about the fact that Freddy was resurrected by a dog pissing fire? Holy shit. Who came up with that? Rennie Harlan, the director. He's a creative guy, but holy shit. But Tuesday Night's taking over the role of Kristen. Nothing against her, but she just wasn't as good as Patricia Arquette. So a lot of things about this movie that are salvageable. It's still okay. I like Alice. She's a great final girl. But other than that, not a huge fan of this movie. So coming in at number 14 is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. This is a lot of people's favorite Friday the 13th movie. Or if it's not their favorite, it's definitely in their top 3. For me, it's kind of smack dab in the middle of them. The whole meta stuff was cool, but I'm just not a fan of the way that they did this movie. Jason wasn't scary anymore. And I guess, it's the 6th version or 6th installment of a franchise. It was smart the way they made it fun. The Alice Cooper song, Man Behind the Mask, is pretty sweet. I like my Jason scary, so that's why you'll see most of the earlier films towards the top of this list. So, coming in next is going to be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. I have such a love-hate relationship with this film. It did so many damn things right. The cinematography, the mood, atmosphere, everything was just great. The way they utilized the shape, Michael, was great. But the story, holy shit. And Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's performance was just weird. It's cool that he was in a Halloween movie, but it was just very weird. The whole Thorn cult. As much as it's fucked up, I don't really know what else they could have done, because Halloween 5 fucked them in the ass and tied their hands behind their back, so they had to come up with something. So the story is what drags it down, but it did so many things right that I had to have it where I have it. So coming in at number 12 is going to be Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Super cool concept for a movie. This came out in '94, 2 years before Craven did Scream. This movie was a flop. It's grown a lot on a lot of people now. There's not a lot of kills. It's not the best Freddy movie, but I like kind of the psychologicalness of this movie. Heather Langenkamp does a great job. The kid that plays Dylan, I can't remember his name offhand. Miko Hughes, kid from Pet Sematary, does a great job. This movie's just a cool movie. It's not really a slasher movie. It's more suspenseful, but I like it. So that's why it is at number 12. Coming in at number 11 is going to be the original Friday the 13th from 1980. I've went into detail on this film a lot recently, so I'm not going to get into too much detail now. It's just outside of the top 10 because it just hasn't aged very well. But I love the mood uh, of the original cabins and all that there, Camp Crystal Lake. I thought it was really eerie. You could tell it was shot in the Northeast, which is cool. And I thought they did a great job with that. The whole Pamela Voorhees reveal was kind of weird. That we didn't see her. A whodunit where you don't even see the person is kind of weird. But it's a classic for a reason. I like it, so it's at number 11. All right, top 10 people. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Halloween 4. Love this movie. Love this movie. There's one thing that just holds it way back for me, and it's just so fucking distracting. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say this. Michael's mask is god fucking awful. Ugh, just drives me nuts. And I'm not even talking about the pink one that he saw in with blonde hair that was in the school. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. That actually happened. But just the mask he wears in this film is just god awful, and it's so distracting. That being said, it's in the top 10 mostly. Well, first of all, Danielle Harris and Ellie Cornell are awesome as Rachel and Jamie. And Dr. Loomis, this is my favorite version of Loomis. His daytime scenes, I could watch those all day. Those are some of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. So that's why it's at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 2 from 1981. Great movie. We got the introduction of Jason. We got Ginny, arguably maybe the best final girl in slasher movie history. You got the sack over the head, not even the hockey mask yet. The atmosphere, once again, of this picks up right where the original left off. And I just think it has everything the original had. It's just done a little bit better. So that's why it's at number 9 for me. Coming in at number 8 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Freddy is awesome in this movie. Yes, we can get into the logics of the fact that he's coming out of the dream world. We can get into all kinds of different things about the homosexual subtext and all that, which really became text. We can get into all that. But I like Freddy in this movie. He's so scary. It's very psychological again. You know, Jesse doesn't know what's happening to him. Freddy's trying to control him. It's a very eerie movie, and it's very well done. I'd take this Freddy over Freddy's Dead any day of the week. I don't care about the logic of not being in the dreams and all the rules established in the first one. I don't give a fuck. This Freddy is awesome. And this is an underrated movie. It's starting to get a little more publicity now as being decent, and I'm glad. But for me, I still love it, and it's at number 8. Coming in at number 7, speaking of a movie that is finally getting its due, is going to be Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. No Michael Myers. I don't care. This movie fucking rocks, and it's because of Tom Atkins and that goddamn mustache. He is the man. He is an everyman. He's a hero in this movie, even though he's kind of a bastard, terrible father, alcoholic. He's literally trying to save things because he wants to get laid by Ellie, and that's fucking awesome. But this movie, the atmosphere, you've heard me say that word 20 times. You're probably going to hear me say it again with each of these movies above this on this list. But the atmosphere in this movie is great. I love the soundtrack. I think it's one of the most underrated scores of any horror movie. Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, he did a great job. So yeah, it is at number 7. Coming in at number 6, a movie that holds a special place in my heart. Friday the 13th, Part 3. This is the first Friday movie I've ever seen, and I loved it. Richard Brooker is my favorite Jason by far. I've said it before, but just the way after he kills Vera with the harpoon gun and tosses it down and just kind of looks up at the house going after Andy is fucking badass. It's like Jason's having fun. He's like, I am having fun killing these kids, and I'm going to keep doing it. The final chase scene with Chris is unbelievable. It is my favorite final chase scene of any slasher movie. It just goes in so many different directions, and I love it. So yeah, this movie has its faults. The 3D, I get it. It's in your face, especially watching it in 2D now. But for me, it holds a special place in my heart. And Actually, a fun fact is this is the only Friday the 13th movie where the name Jason is never mentioned. So trivia, someone with that shit. But yeah, so it's up high on my list at number 6. Yeah. So coming in at number 5, top 5. Now it gets really tough to rank these last 5. But coming in at number 5 is A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, the original. There's not much I can say about this movie that hasn't been said. Craven was a genius for everything in this movie. The way he created the character, the way he set everything up. Robert Englund was scary as shit as Freddy. He was in the shadows, which I love. You kind of see him, you kind of don't in the alley. He's got his arms extending, with practical effects. Who knew practical effects could be better than CG? Only everyone that watches fucking horror movies nowadays. But yeah, that's a whole nother story. Sorry. So just continuing on, the way Craven created this character and this story was brilliant, and the way he executed it was great. You got Johnny Depp dying in the pool of blood. Heather Langenkamp as Nancy is fantastic, and there's just so much great things in this movie. So that's why it comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Halloween 2 from 1981. Another movie. All these kind of are nostalgia for me, but this movie's driven purely by nostalgia. I just love this movie. I remember seeing it when I was 6 years old at my grandma's house. It just terrified me. Michael roaming the hallways just scared the shit out of me. Dick Warlock, although I don't like his robotic nature, I thought he brought a sinisterism to Michael. Obviously not even close to as good as Castle, because nobody is. But I thought he was all right. Loomis in this movie, once again, is awesome. Just genius how they had the sequel pick up directly where the original left off. It's all nighttime scenes. The hospital setting is what sells this for me, and Michael just roaming the halls. It's just creepy as shit, and I love this fucking movie. I love that they did the soundtrack similar to the original, but they added some synthesizer because, hey, 80s. I just love everything about it. So that's why it is at number 4 for me. Top 3 now. We have one entry from each franchise left. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. It wasn't the final chapter. There's like 9 movies after this shit. But anyway, just probably the best slasher movie. If you want to introduce someone to a slasher movie, show them this goddamn movie. Jason's so fucking dark and just brutal. The cast is great. You got Crispin Glover, awesome. You got Corey Feldman as a kid. The way they killed Jason off, bringing Tom Savini back to do Jason's makeup and kill the character he created. Just awesome. The kills, every single kill in this fucking movie is awesome. Maybe with the exception of Rob yelling, he's killing me, he's killing me. But everything about this movie is just fucking awesome. It's the quintessential Friday the 13th movie to me, and that's why it's at number 3. So we got 2 left. Coming in at number 2 is going to be A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors. That's a Dawkins song, but you have to excuse my voice. But man, this movie is Freddy with the perfect mix of horror and humor. This is where the one-liners started. Welcome to prime time, bitch. All the one-liners he has in this movie are executed pretty flawlessly, actually. And then after this, it just went to Cartoonville. But in this movie, they just dominated with that. They realized kind of what they had in Freddy, having his personality. And the setting of being in kind of the institution and all the kids banding together is great. Everything, the kills in this movie are fantastic. Philip's kill, where Freddy rips out his tendons as a puppet, is hard to watch even to this day. I have no idea how they did that, but it's awesome. Ending to this movie could have been better. The whole skeleton fighting in the graveyard doesn't age well. That being said, who gives a shit? This movie's fucking awesome. So that's at number 2. Now, if you've done the process of elimination and you're smart, or you know me, you know what number 1 is. Right behind me, John Carpenter's Halloween from 1978. My favorite movie of all time. I don't really know what else to say about this movie. In 2 minutes, I'm going to do a full review on it this weekend because I am seeing It's on the big screen for the first time tonight. I'm super fucking pumped. But this movie's a classic for a reason. I'm gonna get into so much detail on this. I don't even want to say anything right now to ruin that. But John Carpenter's Halloween is #1 on this list. So let me know what you think of my ranking. Agree, disagree, have something way too high, way too low. Let me know. Subscribe if you want. I plan on busting out a lot of cool videos. I am working on getting some video editing software, so I really can focus on making these look a lot cooler than just me sitting in the room talking, and then you got me saying all the time and all that bullshit. So I am working on that. So I'm hoping I just bought a new computer today, so I can get all that going. So these videos are going to start getting really cool. So I hope you subscribe, and like I said, let me know what you think on my ranking. Thanks.